Shalom, call hello, Yahweh Shemel, Shabbat Hashem, Dash double honors to the apostles and elder bishops of GMS, even the elders again before them taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations, all the brothers up the word of truth and its sincerity, hope from the tabernacle of David. How about that are listening, learning, being a pillar of rest, 144,001 third, the hopeful elect of Israel, from the brother / elder. Shalom and salutations to you all. This is World War III Daily Update. And quickly, I'm going to let Travis give the update. But first, I want to show how things are going to be going on right here in Babylon, right? All right. Is the war coming here? Is World War III have anything to do with what's going on in LA? Let's see. Armenians, right? This here, let's see. And from the land, whoo, this, 33. Second Ezra 15 and 33. And from the land of the Assyrians, what is this? Babylon the Great. Shall the enemy besiege them? From the land of the Assyrians, this is talking about Babylon the Great. The Babylonians are going to get besieged by their enemies and consume some of them. And in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. So some shit is going to go down right here in America, right? Know ye not that as soon as Israel bombs Iran, Iran gives the signal for the sleeper cells that are going to besiege the who? And from the land of the Assyrians, what? Wait a minute. Also, the Carmanians raging in wrath. 2 Ezra 15 and 30, Salakia. There's the Persians right there. Okay? What are the Persians going to do in the land of the Assyrian? And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them. See that? So whatever's going on in LA right now is really to disguise and distract from World War III, but World War III is coming here. See? As soon as Israel does something to Iran gives a signal, attack. Okay?
Things are getting ready to shift. Before I get into
This is Travis at the Prepared Homestead 1 hour ago. Embassies being evacuated. This sounds like World War III. See, whatever's going on, they got to lock this place down. Here it is. This place, Babylon, is bankrupt. Morally, financially, money's gone. Everything's gone. Look at the national debt. What is it, 2 trillion? That's all they can pay. All they can pay is the interest on the debt. The interest on the debt is 2 trillion. All they can do is try to pay that for as long as they can. Military on high alert. War is imminent. First of all, the Northern Army has to go over there and fight. All of this, is whatever's going on in LA is to disguise World War III. Understand that. So the National Guard and the Marines are only there for a hot second before they're replaced by the UN. So anyway, take it away, Travis.
meat and taters of what's going on. Let's just cover a few other things. Of course, the protest and riot.
Salakia. See if we can catch it. The protest, what? Damn. My bad. I tried to make it go big.
U.S. troops to beat because I think things are getting ready to shift. Before I get into the real meat and taters of what's going on, let's just cover a few other things. Of course, the protests and riots, they're growing. They're finding their way in all kinds of cities across the country. Department of Homeland Security has put in a request for an additional 20,000 U.S. troops to be deployed in the United States. And
China got troops here. Russia got troops here. You think they don't? How many Russians are in the United States?
Cities to assist federal agents and law enforcement in all of these protests and in rounding up illegals.
Iran got many people here. Students, a lot of people.
It's looking more and more very scripted, I think, and scripted on the point and the part that it's how it's happening, how it's growing rapidly. Like I said, that there's advertisements and recruitments all over the place. So it's being done, and I think part of it's being done because of what's possibly going to happen in the next few days, which I'll get to that here in just a minute. So stick with me. But yeah, get ready for that because it's gonna be much bigger than you think. The president announced that a trade deal has been met between us and China, and I hate to sound like this critical, deranged Trump whatever stuff, but to be honest with you, what we've seen on paper so far, which isn't much, but what they have announced is the trade deal doesn't look anything better than what we had before all of this tariff war stuff, and it looks actually worse.
Because he fucked up and went running back, begging on his knees for any kind of trade that he could get at this point, which is not much because they're about to pounce.
Basically, China will sell the United States its rare earth minerals and magnets. The United States will allow Chinese nationals into the country to go to our colleges. And we will pay a 55% tariff on Chinese goods, and they'll pay a 10% tariff on the United States stuff. And everyone's calling that a win because, we've put these tariffs on Chinese goods. Why is it so hard for people to understand that the majority of these tariffs you and I will pay? The American people are paying those tariffs. The importers pay the tariffs, and they pass it on to the whoever's, the retailer, and then the retailer's going to pass it on to you. The majority of it. They may try to eat a little bit of it, but here's the thing, a 55% tariff is not really enough to compel a manufacturer to manufacture the stuff in the United States versus China, because the cost. It's not enough to really compel people for the most part.
Is this where we're at, World War III? Tariffs and making a couple more dollars
to stop buying Chinese goods, because most American things that would be comparable are probably more than 55% increase. I've looked several things up that I could think of, and everything that I could find that was American versus it's China. But you have less money, and flying cars, drones, flying taxi cabs to push this technology. Now, of course, we've had drones, and, there are a few very rare, obscure flying cars, AI, surveillance drones, all of this kind of stuff. But the big thing to talk about, and I think this is very, very big, it has the potential to being extremely big, is it looks like the conflict between the United States, Israel, and Iran is about ready to go hot.
This is what's being hid, okay? Nobody's talking about that because it's being hidden, all right? Nobody's going to say anything, nor can you find lick nor hair on YouTube or Google about Iran detonating, testing a nuclear weapon. I was looking feverishly for it the other day in front of everybody, and I believe I failed. But watch him talk about it.
A lot of things seems to have changed in the last 24 hours. And when I say change, I mean rapidly change. It was just a day ago, I think it was actually 2 days ago, that it was reported that the president had a phone conversation with Benjamin Netanyahu. And the president was saying at that time that they felt that they could still have a negotiated deal with Iran. And the report is that there was a heated conversation, not necessarily anger, but it was an intense conversation, and that Netanyahu was telling Trump, they're just dragging this out. They're just dragging this out to buy them time. They're not going to do anything. And Trump told Benny that, hey, you need to stop making all these threats, to Iran. You need to let this process play out. I think we can still make a deal, right? And so that's what was said out of nowhere, because I cannot find, since that news of that conversation, I can't find anything necessarily indicating that something has changed. So, but something obviously has changed. It's just you and I don't know about it yet. Watch this little video clip here of the president today talking about how things have rapidly changed with Iran. I'm not going to show it all. I'll show just a few little clips so I don't get in trouble for copyright.
Do you think you're going to be able to stop Iran from enriching its?
I don't know. I did think so, and I'm getting more and more less confident about it. They seem to be delaying, and I think that's a shame. But I'm less confident now than I would have been a couple of months ago. Something happened to them, but I am much less confident of a deal being.
All right. Notice how he says they're just dragging this out. He says almost the same thing verbatim of what was reported that Benjamin Netanyahu said. And he goes on to say that, a couple of months ago, I was really confident that we were going to work out this deal. Now something's changed with them. Something's happened, and I don't believe it's going to happen. I don't believe that we can work out a deal with them. The reporter asked him, well, what does that mean? What are the consequences of that? And he says, well, they're not going to have a nuke. He said they're not going to have nuclear weapons one way or the other. They're not going to have nuclear weapons if we work out a peace deal with them, and they're not going to have nuclear weapons if we attack them. He says the only real difference is they're going to choose whether or not to have death and destruction with war, and they'll have a lot of that. So that's still being talked about. Senator Tom Cotton today stated that the Secretary of Defense did confirm to Armed Services Committee that they have solid intel that Iran is actively, as we speak, putting together a nuclear weapon.
Oh. As we speak. Okay? As though they don't already have nukes given to them by Vlad Putin. Right? They have what they need. They just want more. 200 million, baby. 200 million.
For building a nuclear weapon. That has been confirmed.
Been building.
Now, what has changed in the last 24 hours, probably last 12 hours, is that every U.S. embassy within missile reach of Iran is being evacuated. Every one of them. Every military base in the Middle East went on high alert.
This is very, very important information. Hope you're listening. Back it up just a little bit. Very important. Here's your update.
That every U.S. embassy within missile reach of Iran is being evacuated. Every one of them. Every military base in the Middle East went on high alert. The entire U.S. Navy went on high alert. They have issued high alerts to all oil freighters in that region. Iran, their military has gone on high alert. News in Iran is reporting that the Ayatollah Khamenei, whatever supreme leader, has issued an order to all jihadists around the world that if they...
Listen close. Just pointed this out in the scriptures.
News in Iran is reporting that the Ayatollah Khamenei, whatever supreme leader, has issued an order to all jihadists around the world that if they are attacked by Israel or the United States, that they will commit jihad on the United States or Israel, wherever they're at. There is just this rapid buildup. It's being reported that Russia is sending their newest, best hypersonic missiles to Iran. These are capable of carrying nuclear warheads and capable of reaching Israel. Iran stated that if they are attacked, they will turn around and they will attack any U.S. asset that they can in the region, which is probably why the U.S. embassies are being evacuated. There just seems to be a rapid change. In fact, one reporter I was reading on Twitter said that, of course, an unnamed source, so it could be baloney, but they had an unnamed source in the Pentagon that said, listen, I don't know what's going on, but I can tell you this. if we knew that this was getting ready to go kinetic, what you see happening is exactly what would be happening.
I'm going to end it right there. It's got a little more if you want to go watch it. It's about maybe 6 more minutes. But in the interest of time, I'm going to hold it up right there. So, yeah, this here is that. And from the land of the Assyrians, which is America, shall the enemy, who's the enemy of America? Iran. A lot of Iranians here. So if they're attacked, Khomeini gave the signal. From the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them. And in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. Who is the enemy of the Assyrians? It would be the Carmanians and the dragons that have joined battle together with great power. You understand? The battle's going to go on over there and over here. And from the land, see, the land of the Assyrians, they shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. That's them. And right here, from the land of the Assyrian shall the enemy besiege them. What is that saying? It's going to go down here. All right? What's going to go down here? World War III. Let's get 13. And what, 30? Oh, 31. Started 29. Second Ezra 13:29. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. All right, so there you have it, man. About to get buck-ass wild even right here before everything goes up in smoke. All right, so with that, we hope that the elector edified your brothers and your sisters. Thank you, Travis, for the update, Shalom.